You see all the van life photos, you watch all the van tours, but do you wonder what this nomadic lifestyle is all about? Are you curious about life on the road? Social media calls it #vanlife. We call it home. I'll ask 10 questions to get you the stories that you want to hear from the people who live, work, and travel and adventure in this nomadic lifestyle. Welcome to Life on the Road. Welcome to another episode of Life on the Road, where I ask 10 questions to get you the stories that you want to hear from her Life on the Road. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
This is amazing.
Yes.
I always say that. It's like my go-to line. This is amazing.
It is.
Every episode is amazing for me. We are at the infamous Phil's Trailhead, a.k.a. Phil's KOA.
Yes.
Thank you, Thad, for those in Wasabus. We just finished Descend on Bend, had an amazing weekend.
Amazing.
Yeah, an incredible weekend.
Yeah.
We are all, I think, a little exhausted, but I think every person that was at Descend is here at Phil's right now.
Pretty much.
It seems that way at least. And we're going to go see Aaron. Shout out DJI Aaron, play the after party tonight. Should be lots of fun. But we're going to sit and have a conversation.
Yeah.
I'm super excited about this.
Me too.
Yeah, I know. You were excited. We talked about it at Holy Toledo, did we not?
I think we did.
I think we did. Yeah. So this worked out perfectly we get to do this. As we always start the show, tell us who you are, where you're from, and how long you've been on the road.
I am Ava.
And then you can shamelessly promote yourself as well. Drop your Instagram, whatever you want.
Okay. I'm Ava. I've been on the road about 6 months with a few breaks.
Yeah.
Where
you're from?
Oh, Washington. So I grew up in New Hampshire.
Okay.
So I always kind of feel like New Hampshire is going to be where I'm from to a degree, but my family moved out to Washington when I was like 12.
Okay.
So
Washington State?
Washington State.
Where in Washington State?
Tri-Cities.
Yeah.
Richland.
Yeah.
So
I lived in Seattle for a long time, so I know that area.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was definitely a huge shift from
New Hampshire.
From New Hampshire.
One extreme to the next.
Yeah, completely across the country.
Yeah. And then your Instagram. Where can everybody find you?
Instagram is ava.r88, and my YouTube, which I'm newly working on. My first video is actually I'm gonna post it within the next couple days.
Sweet.
It is Ava on the Road.
Nice.
Yes.
I love
I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, we will post both of those somewhere like right here. Yeah.
Somewhere right there.
As
Perfect.
John always says, right here.
Voila.
Exactly. Let's learn a little bit about your life on the road.
Alrighty.
Question 1, what was the beginning moment, cause, or inspiration to live your life on the road?
So I wasn't like, okay, I'm going to become a nomad.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. I was actually, it was a really hard start for me. I was struggling with a lot of mental health issues. I was just in a bad place.
Yeah.
And I was in a pretty abusive relationship.
Okay.
Which was obviously not ideal. It was hard.
Not a good situation.
And I left, which is one of the hardest, scariest, sometimes dangerous things that you can do.
Yeah.
But I left, and it was right after just a really dark chapter, and I just felt like I had to leave. I guess my hometown carries a lot of that kind of darkness for me and that struggle. But yeah, I left. I hit the road. I went to Montana to do some seasonal work as a camp counselor.
Okay, cool.
And that kind of kicked me off.
Got you started, basically.
Yeah, and then I was like, okay, I will spend some time traveling around. So I actually put my seats down and added my little mattress very spontaneously with the idea of being on the road for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And then I met Jade and Tom like about a month into my,
Okay.
and they told me about Toledo.
Yep.
And I was like, okay.
Shout out Jade and Tom,
Yes.
maybe the greatest van life couple ever.
I love
think
them
they're
so much.
episode 38 or 9, something like that. Yeah.
And so I kind of felt like, wow, like this is really an option for me. This is like a life that I could, lead. And I don't necessarily have like the best setup quite yet.
There's some specific things that obviously I think you're uniquely, I think this interview is going to be unique to someone out there.
Yeah.
Because
I hope so.
you starred in this.
Yes.
Okay. This is the rig.
This is the
which
rig.
is amazing. And 2, you're very young.
I am very young.
Yeah.
I'm 18.
Yeah.
But I left at 17.
Yeah.
And I spent my 18th birthday at Holy Toledo, which was absolutely incredible.
Amazing. A really big van event. Shout out the Journal of Lost Time in Toledo, Oregon. It was an amazing event. Yeah, I remember meeting you there and being like, wait, what?
Yeah.
This is your 18th birthday?
Yeah.
This is incredible. This is amazing. So
yeah, it was hard. It was hard being on the road and, kind of navigating, being a very young solo female traveler.
Sure.
And, there's some fear around that. And
Of course.
But it's been incredible. It's been, and it's like I'm so much happier than I thought I could be after such a short period of time. I mean, I've struggled with like some mental health issues since being like a young kid. I've been through, inpatient mental health counseling and therapy and so many things that didn't work. And then hitting the road and traveling and being alone with myself and with nature was like just remarkably healing for me.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, and it's going to kind of roll us right into question 2, which is what has been your experience with other nomadic travelers while living your life on the road? And I mean, obviously meeting Jade and Tom and then kind of getting introduced to Holy Toledo, like that's a pretty good start.
Yes. It's been, the community is like, I can't even put it into words.
Yeah.
It's just, I've never felt so welcomed, so included and so embraced for where I'm at. Yeah. Like anywhere else. And it's like, that's been another huge part of healing for me is finding people that.
Well, it's kind of been for me, obviously I'm on the whole other end of the age spectrum of you are, but I met you at Holy Toledo and then obviously we hung out at Descend. And it has been so fun to see you kind of just, I don't know, it's pure joy seeing you around other nomads and seeing you kind of being included into this community. And, and it's very kind of obvious, in your words and in your actions and in your daily, demeanor. And I think it's truly wonderful.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy to hear like you've had such a wonderful experience at these 2 events.
For sure.
I mean, these 2 events can be intimidating and they can be, a lot for individuals. And but you seem to have just kind of rolled with it. And
I do my best to just kind of put myself out there and connect. And I feel like this community makes it easy. It's like once you start a conversation, there's a lot of like skip over that like surface level. It's like, what's your story?
Yeah, exactly. Who are you really?
And I think that's felt very like liberating and healing for me to feel like I can be my real authentic self. And share that with people and get to know who they really are. For sure.
Yeah, that is something that, and I have discovered that as well is, the community is really going to accept you for you, period. You don't have to try to be somebody else. You don't have to pretend to be, somebody else. You can really be your most authentic self and they will love you no matter what.
Yeah, I felt very loved.
That's amazing. Sure. I'm very glad to hear that. So, and obviously we're camped here with 40 of our best friends. And it's been, super fun. And we just left, Descend, which was 1,000 of our closest friends. So, pretty fun experience no matter what. So, I'm glad that has been, 2 rewarding things for you. And, it's only going to propel you further down the road, which is pretty awesome. Very nice. Well, and then we've kind of already touched on maybe one of your hardest, but what has been your biggest failure and what has been your biggest triumph while living on the road?
got a couple failures for sure.
Okay.
One of them is my diet
Okay.
is peanut butter sandwiches. That's probably not ideal.
Not ideal, for sure.
And the start was rocky, kind of shifting into the mindset of I can do this versus I have to do this.
Yeah.
And really,
Because that's really where you started from.
Right.
You started from, I have to get out of town. I have to leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's so quickly become like so meaningful to me.
Yeah.
You know?
Meaning like this is what you want to do
Yes.
now.
It's become a want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very
Not a have to I have to leave. So failure is probably your food.
Yeah. And adjusting to like the mindset mentally, I think for a while I was feeling a little bad for myself.
Yeah, I imagine.
And just loneliness can be hard.
Yeah, loneliness is going to be a challenge on the road for everybody, and it gets talked about a lot on the show. You know, about being lonely. But like specifically, like it's going to take you a minute to figure out like maybe getting a cooler or getting a fridge or getting a way and a system to manage and deal with your food and your small vehicle and things like that. So. You'll get there.
I'll get there.
Yeah, others will help you, and you know you'll figure it out. But
Yeah.
I could see just straight PBJs being a bit of a failure. What has been the biggest triumph?
I feel like finding the community.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been lucky to find people so early. I felt so beyond grateful to have met Jade and Tom, and they really like kind of took me under their wing to a degree and just made me feel really cared about.
Yeah.
And so. Yeah. And then I think also just mental clarity, getting to a place where I'm dependent on myself and I trust myself. I trust my intuition. I trust the choices that I make.
Sure.
And I carry a lot less doubt and overthinking and fear.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing. And, you know, considering, you know, maybe the situation that you were escaping, you know, to 6 months later kind of get to this point where, you know, you've really kind of been able to kind of recenter yourself and kind of, you know, become grounded again, which is pretty amazing. And, you know, that this community can provide that, you know, the friendships you make on the road are pretty impressive. So. Sure. Yeah. Shout out Jade and Tom again. They're incredible.
They really are.
They are incredible. And they're just grossly, disgustingly in love. And it's, you know, they are the ideal van life couple.
For sure.
Well, question 4. Did you start your life on the road as a single person? What is it like living on the road as a single person?
Well, so technically, I definitely started single, obviously, leaving that. It's been a little bit of a journey. I've definitely it's been hard and lonely going from like a long-term, obviously unhealthy, but very codependent and like together all the time, emotional intensity. To being completely like kind of alone. I did meet a really incredible guy in Montana on the road like several months into my journey, which I was totally like not really looking for that, obviously. And there was definitely like some hesitation around, you know, am I ready for this? Like, where am I at mentally? But I feel like remarkably traveling has like just completely like jump-started and like my healing journey to feel like I'm in a place where like, I can be in a healthy relationship because I'm in a healthy relationship with myself. And I think that's,
well, again, like I think the road, you know, it seems to have obviously helped you realize kind of what you were feeling or dealing with in your past and kind of, you know, helping you not necessarily put it behind you per se, but to at least give you a place where, you know, you could do and see and experience other people and things along the way. So that makes sense.
And then having him as kind of like that home base and knowing that, you know, I have someone. And I have, you know, I love Montana. Also, it's like one of my favorite places. I've spent a large chunk. That's where I met Jade and Tom.
Okay.
And I've spent a big part of my journey there. And so I love it there, and it gives me another reason to visit and to have a person there, which has been really incredible.
Hell yes, I love that.
Yes.
Question 5 is then, what's the best place or craziest place you've had sex during your life on the road?
So I actually
haven't had sex on the road yet?
No, I have. It's a little bit of an embarrassing story because it was like very, very early on in my, like, I feel like I'd been on the road for like, I don't know, a month maybe.
Okay.
And so I was in Montana and I was in Yellowstone.
National parks are great checks.
National parks.
Yeah.
And he was a park ranger.
Amazing.
Yes.
Absolutely
so I had
amazing.
A little park ranger fling.
There you go.
So that was an interesting little.
I mean, again, national parks are great check boxes.
Yes.
So well, that's a good one for your opening round on the road. I love it. Question 6 is, how do you make money living your life on the road?
I don't. I don't currently have an income.
Okay.
My monthly budget's very tight.
Yeah.
But I make it work. I had a good chunk of savings. I worked in childcare for a long time. I definitely prioritized work over school.
Sure.
Which, it's not necessarily something I suggest. It's definitely, it's difficult and it set me back a little bit. I am going to have to go back a few steps to get my diploma or my GED.
Your GED, yeah. Is that's something you're gonna do?
It is.
Okay.
That's actually kind of my next goal. I think I'm gonna go stay with my dad for a while. Okay. And my mom. Yeah, they're kind of in a weird spot, but I'm gonna say I'm going back to my hometown, which is scary. It's intimidating. Yeah. I'm actually going back this Thursday.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So I'm hoping. It'll be okay.
Yeah.
It'll be okay.
Well,
I have friends there that I definitely miss.
And then, now, the beauty is if you need to go out and on the road for a bit, or even just a short excursion away, you can get away and you'll feel comfortable.
And I trust myself to manage what is thrown at me.
Sure.
But yeah, so I saved for a long time before I hit the road, and so I had a pretty solid-ish chunk of savings.
Okay.
That's allowed me to.
Are there things that you're actively kind of wanting to do or thinking about doing on the road? Like now that you've met some other travelers and kind of seen how they live and work and.
Well, it's tricky because I have always worked in childcare. I've worked in a preschool classroom. I've worked as a nanny. I've babysat since I was really little. And so that's really what I feel like I excel at. Yeah. And while there is child care, need everywhere, you can't really.
It's tough on the road.
It's tough on the road.
Yeah,
so I thought about, going abroad and, doing some volunteer programs with kids there. I've thought about.
Heck yeah. I'm a big fan of someone at your age just traveling. Yeah. Like legitimately, not necessarily in the States, not necessarily in your rig, but going somewhere else in the world and just spending time. So I highly recommend that if you can.
And that's definitely another thing that's some next steps in my journey is I want to travel abroad. And that's part of why I haven't really pushed myself too hard to upgrade. Yeah. Or because just saving and knowing that that can go toward a plane ticket. That's a completely kind of new, different journey that still involves, traveling and independence.
Plenty of time to get a rig, down the road. Yes. It doesn't have to happen tomorrow. Yeah. You can continue to travel in this.
Yeah.
You've done this just fine.
It really works for me. Yeah. It does.
And, until you're ready or, I would suggest, don't spend the money on a rig right now. Mm-hmm. Go wherever, anywhere. And then come back and decide, ultimately where you want to be. So I get it. I love it. Well, speaking of your rig, question 7, what is your rig? Who built it and why did you choose it to live your life on the road?
My Prius.
It's a Prius.
It shows me.
It's a Prius C.
It is.
So we're the little hatchback Prius.
Yes.
Which is amazing. And you're a tall woman.
I am 6 foot tall. I am.
How do you fit in this thing? Do you fit in this thing?
I do. So my head goes by the trunk and my feet go between the front seats.
Okay.
And I have a little like foam,
little cushion,
little foam
Yeah.
pad in there. So
I love it.
I make it work.
You make it work.
I do. I
mean, you're living proof, which again, when I first heard your story, I just was blown away. Like, and then I saw your rig and I was like, holy shit, she's 6 foot living in this Prius C. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, again, we talk about it all the time on this show. You don't have to have an Althea to come to an event.
Right.
Literally put a sleeping bag in your truck and come and experience the community and experience, all these amazing people. And it really means nothing.
Yeah,
the rig really means
doesn't.
nothing.
And that's another, me being grateful for the community is like, I've never felt an ounce of judgment. I've never felt anyone being condescending or like judgmental. I've always just felt like, accepted.
Welcome.
Me and my Prius have been accepted.
Yeah, and again, like I'm sure like today we had community breakfast for everyone, and like there's always somebody there to help you out if you need it, and absolutely, I think it's amazing, and the fact that like you just decided this was your vehicle and this was the rig that you were gonna live in,
right?
Like it's perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect for now. Like right now.
It is. It's just what I kind of needed, I think.
And you're on a budget. You get great gas mileage.
I get great gas mileage.
You get the best gas mileage of everybody in this parking lot right now. So yeah, no, I love the fact that, you didn't try and adjust or go outside of your means. You stayed very within yourself in terms of what you had and can afford. But yet it didn't stop you from coming out and experiencing this. Yeah. So we're going to let the crazy rig drive by.
Jules back.
Jules. That's who that was. Okay. Question number 8. What is your best bathroom, number 1 or number 2 story from life on the road? Do we have there's no toilet in here, I assume.
So pretty much every single story is...
Every single story is the greatest story
Everything, it's been, especially like long drives. Like I tend to break up instead of doing like, a few hours of driving and then stopping, and then I do like travel days where I'll like just pump in just hours of driving.
I'm the same way.
And so those are definitely like, okay, park and pop a squat on the side of like, and I'm like, luckily with my Prius, one thing I really like is if I open the 2 doors, I get like a little mini unofficial stall. And so
that's awesome.
Yeah, so my opened doors is like my little little bathroom.
Okay.
And so
no like horror stories or
no
like
horror stories.
Nothing crazy.
I mean,
have we spilled a pee jug in the van or in the car yet?
Nope, I have not.
Well, that's good.
Yes.
No need for a pee jug yet?
Oh no, I've had the need. There's definitely been like, oh my gosh,
I have to
pull.
pee.
Yeah, I have to pull over right this second.
Yes, I've had that moment as well, for sure.
Yeah, that's been.
Okay, well, no spilling of the pee jug. That's a win.
That is absolutely a win.
Absolutely a win. I love it. Question 9, and maybe we've touched on this a little bit and we can expand on it, but what has been your happiest and what has been your hardest moments of living your life on the road?
So my happiest moment is actually the day that I met Jade and Tom.
Okay.
Shout out to them again.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be a common theme in this episode, which I love.
Yeah, we were parked not far from Bozeman. We were out by like this reservoir and in this little pull-off, and we were parked.
Were you there first or were they there first?
They were there first.
Okay.
And I pulled up. I didn't really go over and introduce myself for a little bit.
Was it just only your 2 rigs, or were there other rigs?
No, there were a couple other rigs that were friends of theirs that I met as well that were really awesome.
All right.
And so I went over and introduced myself, and then, we were chatting, having some s'mores, and then there was this incredible rainbow, the biggest, most colorful, like, full double rainbow that I have ever seen. It felt so
I'm assuming
close.
Someone took a photograph of this rainbow.
Oh yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
We'll post the rainbow here.
And it was like this moment where I was just like, felt in awe of just this beauty. And
Yeah.
it was just so amazing to like share it with these new friends.
Yeah.
And it was just a really great way to kick off like a friendship.
Yeah.
And it was so beautiful.
Well, and again, too, we talk about it all the time. It's so nice that you go to these events or you meet these other fellow nomads and you get to experience these beautiful places that we're so fortunate to get to see all the time.
Yeah, so lucky.
And get to share that experience.
Yes.
So, you know, I love the fact that very early on in your nomadic travels that became very important and noticed to you, which is really great.
And there was another, I think my other favorite memory is also right near Bozeman.
Okay.
There's a lake called Fairy Lake that I absolutely love. It's so beautiful.
Okay.
And I parked my rig up there. It's a very, my rig.
You have a Prius. You have a rig.
It was a very, very bumpy road up there, and it was crazy, but I parked and then
just drove really slow, took your time.
Took it very slow.
Yeah.
And there's actually a bunch of people camping up there, and it was really nice. And then that following morning from camping, I woke up very early, like 5 or 6 a.m., and I swam all the way across the lake by myself.
Hell yes.
I'm a really strong swimmer. I did swim team growing up, and so being in water is one of my favorite parts of being on the road, is getting to like swim in so many different lakes and creeks and go up underneath waterfalls and just that's a huge way that I like to connect with nature, is through swimming and getting wet. And
I love that.
But that was incredible, and I felt pretty triumphant after getting out of that very, very cold, pretty big lake.
We will post photos that I actually took of you in a very unique water setting at Holy Toledo.
Oh yes, the ice bath.
The ice bath, the infamous ice bath.
That was also incredible.
Shout out Brittany, Breathwork Caravan, for providing the ice bath
that
experience
was a
at
blast.
Holy Toledo. So we took some good photos of you at that. So we'll post those.
Awesome.
Which is amazing. What has been your biggest failure while living your life on the road?
I would just...
Or actually, no, it's not failure. I'm forgetting my own questions. Your hardest moment.
My hardest moment. I would say my hardest moment was actually a few weeks ago. I actually was in my hometown.
Okay. So after Holy Toledo.
After Holy Toledo, I went to Montana.
Okay.
And then I went to up by the border of Canada.
Yeah.
In Washington.
Okay.
In Orville.
Yeah.
For a while. And then, so then after Montana, like take 3, because I love it there.
Yeah.
I went back to my hometown, and I was going to try to do this, like, GED program. That was an in-person one, because I'm going to now switch to an online, because I tried a couple days of it, and my mental health just really plummeted, and it was kind of like, I guess, a break between being on the road, which shows a lot. My hardest moment is my tiny amount of being not on the road.
Being off the road. Yeah.
But it was just hard. I felt like this like depression and anxiety creeping back in after only, being there for a little bit, and it just struck me, and I was so glad that I already had my tickets for Descend on Bend. So like I didn't really owe anyone an explanation about why I was hitting the road again. But it was just hard, and I just felt, kind of a heaviness.
Yeah.
And so.
Do you think now that you're kind of aware of that, you've experienced this, so you're acutely aware of it. So now going back, when you go back and you said you were going back to your mom and dad's here for a minute, you're gonna maybe be prepared for that a little bit more? I
have more of a game plan for sure.
Okay.
So my parents are separating right now. So my mom's actually in North Carolina. Okay. So I'm gonna be staying with my dad, and I am going to be doing an online program, which is gonna allow me to. My plan. I have a dog at home that I miss. It's not been really attainable for her to travel with me in the long term, but since I'm gonna be doing kind of like more like, long weekend trips for the next while, it's going to allow me to travel with my dog. I think I'm going to go kind of up and down the Washington coast.
Heck yes. Absolutely.
For a while as just little getaways. I think that's what I need. I need breaks, And then I think I'm also going to go out to Vermont and visit where I grew up
Yeah.
in New Hampshire.
Great.
I have family in Vermont and then childhood friends and everything in New Hampshire. So I'm going to spend some time in New England while also finishing this and trying to...
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, you know, focusing on that goal, but knowing that you're going to need your little outlets in order to kind of continue to maintain kind of that healthy mental attitude that you need is going to be so important.
Yes.
So I'm glad that you know, I'm not going to say, you know, we always say like hard moments are great moments because you learn a lot from them.
Yeah.
So, you know, that hard moment for you is going to propel you probably even further down your nomadic travel, which is really great. So, last question 10.
All right.
Define hashtag van life in your own words, and then provide a piece of advice for somebody wanting to live a life on the road.
I would say everyone has a very different definition, but the definition for me is really around freedom and independence.
It's not different. Everybody's definition. It's amazing.
Really?
It's amazing how many people, I would say of the 40 some odd episodes that I've shot now, 30 of them have used that word.
Okay.
Now,
well, I don't feel very original.
Now they all define it differently.
Yeah.
They all, it's all different to them.
Yeah, like we're all finding freedom from different things.
Yeah,
like we all
100%.
had things that were kind of tying us down, and now we're all finding different sorts of freedom. But I would say freedom and independence.
Yeah.
And a strong sense of self.
Yeah.
You know, self-reliance. And
I'm always curious, especially from somebody that is young as yourself, how did you initially discover kind of nomadic travel or even van life or being on the road? Like what was the thing that kind of showed you what that could look like? Was it Instagram?
Well, no, there's actually a documentary on Netflix that's like super not well known. I don't even remember the name of it.
Okay.
But I was actually in it like an inpatient like mental health program, and it was like my day to like choose the movie or something. I was like, this looks pretty cool, and I remember watching it and crying. And I was like, life can be better for me.
Yes.
And that was like a couple years before I ended up hitting the road. But
wow, that's amazing.
yeah, but then when I met,
you don't remember what it was?
I don't.
Okay,
remember
we're gonna
what
have to like find out what it was.
You can put the title.
Yeah, we would love to do that.
But it was just about a couple traveling in their van, and I remember seeing it and seeing that freedom and just feeling so inspired and so touched of like, you know, there's more out there for me than what like this kind of struggle of my life had kind of been.
Your current situation at the time. Yeah. Okay. Well, and I just want to say kudos to you for being brave enough to leave that relationship.
Thank you.
And, you know, at your age, and that is a big decision. That is a hard decision. That is something that I can't even fathom. And so, I'm so proud of you for doing that because, you know, you're an amazing light and an amazing spirit. And I'm so glad that you have found this community. So
that means a lot.
Yeah.
That means a lot.
What would be your piece of advice for somebody wanting to live a life on the road?
My piece of advice, I think, trust yourself. And
I love that.
Believe in yourself. Know that you can do it. Know that no matter the odds stacked against you, whether it be, you know, you feel tied down, you feel trapped, whether it be mentally or, you know, by relationships or just like this culture of you must be doing this and this timeline.
Yeah. Yeah, following societal norms.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to just go for it. And, you know, you may try and it might not be, but it's one of my favorite things is I would rather have more moments saying, I can't believe I did that than I wish that I would have done that.
That is a great statement. It's a very wise statement for a 19-year-old.
18.
18, Jesus Christ. I mean, it's really kind of insane to think about that is like, if you lived the rest of your life with just that in mind, you were going to be wildly successful. I mean, I love that so much. So that's incredible. Ava, that's your 10 questions.
Yay. Well, I really appreciate you having me and having a chance to share.
Yeah, I mean, ever since I met you at Toledo, it's been in the back of my mind to shoot this.
Yeah.
Like, I think your story is really incredible. I think what you've done is so brave and is, you know, obviously so beneficial for you, which I hope others can see. And, you know, and I think you're doing the right steps, like going back to school and making sure, you know, you have that degree and and allowing yourself to kind of, you know, do all the things that you're going to have coming up for you. But like literally the world is at your fingertips. And I love that you're getting to this really wonderful place.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
We're going to go enjoy the rest of our 40 friends hanging out here, maybe make some lunch. We've been watching this wonderful Frisbee game going on in front of us. Maybe we'll go join. But we're going to get out of here. So thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye. Say something real quick.
Hello, hello, hello.
You are good.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah. I like that. That looks good. Yeah? No? Table's disgusting. It's got shit all over it from this weekend. Okay.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Not sure if I'm ready. I haven't filmed an episode in a minute. Good job.
Thank you.
That was amazing.
That was.
Such
I
a
really
good job.
appreciate it.
No, that was awesome. I love it. I'm just hoping, like, if you need anything in the future, just don't hesitate to reach out.
I appreciate that.
Like, if you don't
I'm
reach out.
definitely a little more scared than I let on about going back to the hometown.
I imagine you are, and that's
It's
okay.
Like,
I mean, just like, you know, just keep remembering why you left.
Yeah.
And then also remember, you know, the people that you've met here.
Yeah.
You know, and if and when you need anybody, you know, you can always reach out to them. And
I just feel so great.
Good. Yeah. I'm glad for that. Because, I mean, again, like, you, and please know that, like, you know, prior to your getting on the road, you were very alone, and you know, made a very brave choice. But, you know, you don't have to be alone in these brave choices anymore. So, yeah.
I appreciate it a lot.
Of course. Amazing.
Yay.
All right.
Oh, got the microphone on.